Hello and welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. Week 6 games shook up the league with multiple teams now in position to compete for that top spot. To recap, we send it out to the West Coast with Tommy Bahama.
What's up, fellas? It's Tommy Tonka reporting to you live from the field with your Week 6 update recap to say Miguel won this week. That's about all the news I can handle. Tommy Tonka reporting live.
And thank you, Tommy Bahama. After the shocking upset of Demogorgon by undefeated Never Lost, TNN reached out to undefeated Never Lost owner Miguel to see how he was celebrating his first win.
Hey guys, general manager and defensive coordinator for the historic fantasy franchise Undefeated Never Lost. Week 6 against Jacob is a lock for me, at least for my first win, since all of his players are on bye. And you know, it's just nice to know that some of my players can really perform when they have to, especially some of my younger guys. Other than that, honestly not too high on my team right now. I don't think I've ever been lower, which is probably surprising to most of you, considering how optimistic I have been on my team this year. After week 2 or 3, I was still claiming that I wanted to be in the playoff race. I could be going for a low playoff spot. I think that is now definitely not going to happen anymore since Brett has picked up his game ridiculously. I think probably the best team in the league right now, tied with Jacob and Tom. Yeah, some tough bye weeks for my players when I'm facing this Vanek and Nooch later in the year. I thought that I could have potential of winning those games, but it really doesn't look like it anymore. So that being said, I'd like to wave white flag for this year. Onwards to next year. That means that Levante David, one of the best linebackers in the league, is on the trade block. He is 30-year-old, but if you guys are making a playoff push or a championship push this year, shoot me your best offers. You know that I'll definitely keep the age in mind. As many of you know, my second-round pick and Visconti's second-round pick are also on the trade block for the price of a first-round pick next year. But I mean, it's 2 pretty high second-round picks, I'd say. Yeah, let's talk, man. Especially now with the competition that I'm going to have with Timmy next year. Really like to hit it out of the park and make Timmy regret the decision that he made. Not going to comment on the recent injustice and corruption by the league's judicial system. I think we all know what my opinion is on that. I think we all know that it's a opinion shared by most of the league, including the judge that made the ruling. I believe that he knows that it was unfair on my part, but he just wanted to stand by what he thought was the letter of the law, which I disagree with, but it's fine. Gonna offer a burst of energy for our locker room. Hopefully we can use it next season. I'd also like to announce that since I am not really making a push for it this year, I'll be trying to make some weekly statistical analysis for you guys online. So you guys can access it. I'll try and get to it next week since this week I'm a little bit crowded with work. So yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff. At least I'll be part of the league somehow. Peace, guys.
And now, here is Danny Football with our preview of Week 7. Hey, what's up, guys? The world's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. Another great week for me last time, going 5-1 again. And congrats to Undefeated Never Lost for beating my prediction. Although, I do have to point out, I did say it could be where Miguel picks up his first win. So it was basically like 5.5 and a half. Basically a half win there. Total on the year just keeps getting better. Now up at 23-13. My guest, Nooch, had a respectable showing, 3-3. Even when there was a point where it looked like he would go 0-6. So congrats to him for not going 0-6. Couldn't beat the expert, of course, but It's never easy, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the show at some point. But there's a new week, a new guest, and a new chance to beat the expert. So, guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? Timmy Shea here, manager, coach, GM of the Harry Snotters. Scar's healing up pretty nicely, and thanks for having me on, Danny Football. Excited to be here. Excited to beat you this week in some picks.
Of course, happy to have you on. All right, so our first matchup, we have Team M. Vanek taking on undefeated Never Lost. Team M. Vanek currently favored in this one at an 87% chance to win. Who do you like here?
I mean, let's face it, I'm never going to root for Miguel's team, ever. He's also starting Frank Gore, so that's a rough indication of where his team is at. But Vanek's got a good team. He's got some repetitive and uncreative nicknames, but I love DeAndre Hopkins. I'm taking Vanek in this one.
Yeah, these are two teams that could really use a win right now. A tough run for Vanek, falling to 2-4, and undefeated Never Lost, still bottom feeder in the league despite their win last week. Team owner Miguel has made some comments recently indicating a lack of confidence in his team. And when the leader gets shaky, the whole team gets shaky. And for that reason, I have to pick M. Vanek in this one.
Tone at the top is so important, man.
It's true.
Miguel and I recently swapped first rounders for next season. So we have a bit of a rivalry going, and I think that's going to continue for the foreseeable future.
I love it. Love the rivalry in the league. Next up, we have the Tex Arcana Bandits taking on Ham and Throw. Currently, Ham and Throw is favored by less than a point. Basically a toss-up here. Could go either way. Fans of the show are going to know I am high on the Bandits. Fans of the show will also know I am extremely low on Ham and Throw. I'm gonna bring in the stats here, actually. Big numbers guy. Ham and Throw has not scored more than 160 points since week 3. That is simply not good enough to win in this league. Bandits had a nice showing last week, and I like them to keep rolling here. Bandits all the way. Ham and Throw sucks.
I'm going to have to agree with you here. I'm taking the Bandits. Sconti, I think his projections are a little inflated by Michael Thomas coming back. That's still up in the air. We'll see, and I think even if he comes back, we don't know what we're getting from him. Drew Brees has to take like 4 crow hops before he throws it 20 yards down the field. So I'm a little nervous with that Michael Thomas projection. And then on Grayson's side, Kyler's coming off a great week. Bud Dupree is coming off a huge week. I just really like Grayson's team, top to bottom, and I want him to trade me Will Fuller, but he won't.
Next up, we have my elite taking on the mental Brick Walls. Brick Walls, favored here, 74% chance to win. Who do you like in this one?
I think I got to go Brett here. Brett's got a great team with Big Ben looking really good. Diggs is really good. Brett's team, top to bottom, just looks good to me. And Nucha's team isn't bad. I mean, I love Josh Allen. He looks great in shorts. Aaron Donald might kill Nick Foles this week. We'll see how that goes. And I just got to give the edge to Brett with the advantage in the running backs. Nucha's running backs were a little rough this week.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. People sleeping on the Brick Walls, I think. They currently have the number 1 seed in the playoffs. This is a good team. And Nooch and the Hardmen are missing their best running back, Jonathan Taylor, this week. And some late-breaking news, they dropped Mo Ali Cox. I never like it when a team has to drop a namesake. It really does not send a great message to the locker room. That's a combo I just cannot get behind, and I have to go with the Brick Walls in this one. Next up, the Harry Snotters taking on Too Many Cooks. Too Many Cooks, currently the favorites in this one, with a 77% chance to win. Who do you like here?
Well, let's face it here. My team's missing some guys. We don't have Christian McCaffrey. We don't have Lamar on bye this week. Mostert got hurt again. Thielen's on bye. Those are probably my 4 best players. But I'm going to go with myself here. My team's sick. We're 4-2, feeling good. Joe really just doubled down on those poor character guys, and you hate to see that between Joe Mixon and Kareem Hunt. I mean, you just can't have those kind of guys in the locker room and expect to have a winning culture. Can't do it.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I think that's a good pick. Too many cooks may have lost on the field last week, but they won where it really counts, in the courtroom. And they're going to take that momentum, little team rebranding here into this week. Snotter's side, they're looking a little weak. They're missing some of their best players, but this one was actually really easy for me to pick. Frankly, I'm going to be shocked if it goes the other way. That's how clear I think this is. Too many cooks. Lock it in, 100%. Harry Snotters going down this week.
All right, all right. We'll put that in the back pocket and use that as motivation this week. That's for
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Next up, we have the Lock'em Sock'em Robots going against Team Big Chungus 22. Robots currently favored, 68% chance to win here. Robots have had a rough going lately with bye weeks and injuries. They managed to squeak out a win over Too Many Cooks last week. Things are looking a little bit better with the bye weeks behind them. For the Chunguses here, I think the key is going to be the running back spot. Miles Sanders is looking like he won't play this week, and I genuinely do not know what Big Chungus would do to fill in that spot. And honestly, I don't think Big Chungus knows right now either what he's going to do. Since the only other running backs he has are on a bye or are non-factors on the taxi squad, don't know what's going to happen. For that reason, I have to give the edge to the Robots here.
So I was gonna pick the Robots originally as well, but seeing how Danny Football here just clearly blew off the Harry Snotters, I think I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm gonna take Big Chungus here. On the Robot side, Rodgers might be washed up. I mean, did you see him last week? I think he might be on the decline. I think he might be done. And then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're bringing Le'Veon Bell in. I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, if Le'Veon gets hot, is Andy Reid really going to take him out for a rookie? We'll see. And then on Will's side, Robbie Anderson, kind of elite. I don't really think of him as elite, and I guess that was probably because he was on the Jets for so long. But I think Robbie Anderson will have a big game. I'm picking Big Chungus.
And finally, our marquee matchup this week, Demo Gordon taking on 10th Avenue Touchdown. These are two 4-2 teams. Demo Gordon currently favored at a 54% chance to win. Really close here. Who do you like to come out on top here?
This is a tough one. This is our headliner here. And on Jacob's side, he's got Alvin Kamara back. Huge plus. Arguably the best fantasy asset in the league right now. And his flexes are probably better than my starting running backs and receivers. So top to bottom, Jacob's team looks really good, but I'm going with Tom this week. The projections are real close. I think Tractorcito is on an unbelievable run, having a great season. I think he continues that this week. Calvin Ridley might be the best receiver in the league, considering Michael Thomas is gone. Devontae Adams has been hurt. Calvin Ridley has really stepped up. And finally, I just can't bet against Younghoe Koo. I mean, nice Asian American boy, got a great name. I'm taking Tom.
All right, I like that pick. Demo Gordon coming off really tough loss last week to bottom feeder, undefeated, never lost. And you really have to wonder how the shame of losing to that team is going to affect this team going forward. What's their mentality looking like? On the other hand, 10th Avenue Touchdown exploded last week, 221 points, highest in the league by far. I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit here, and the story is really going to be that second running back spot. Can Joshua Kelly deliver the performance that Tom's going to need to beat Jacob here? I don't think so, and for that reason, I have to go with Demo Gordon back at full strength, righting the ship, and taking the victory here. All right. Well, Timmy, thank you so much for being on the show this week. Love to have you on. Get to hear your perspective and your picks. Wish you all the best. Of course, not as good as me. You can't beat the experts. But again, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Danny. This was fun. We got a lot of different picks here, so we'll see you in a week how these look.
That is true. And thank you, Danny Football and guest Timmy, for those great picks. That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to come back next week. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.
I'd also like to make an announcement, even though it will probably come out in a nationwide press release tomorrow, that the Undefeated Never Lost organization is signing, effective immediately, Daniel Stortz as their offensive coordinator for the rest of the season and hopefully beyond. Daniel has vast experience in fantasy football, even though he's been on a recent hiatus. He has spoken to general manager, myself, and seen the opportunity that this team has to get multiple trophies in about 2 years' time, especially with good development of our young players. The draft coming up, he sees a lot to do and a lot of work to put into the offensive side of the football. So watch out, guys. We're coming for you. 2022. He's also stated that he will never drop a player by accident. So